Hello and welcome everyone back to another edition of Social Media Myths Busted. I'm Laura Rubinstein, your host today, here with the wonderful Carol Dodsley, the G Plus how-to gal, talking to us. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm absolutely wonderful, and I'm just so delighted to be here with you.
Well, I am so delighted you're here because we need to know about you and all the wisdom you have. So tell us a little bit about you, who you are, what your business is, and how it came about.
Oh, how long have you got? Well, as you said, I'm Carol Dodsley, better known to many as the G Plus How-To Girl. But I didn't start off as the G Plus How-To Girl. I actually used to be in senior management in our National Health Service. And to cut a long story short, I was rushed into hospital one night with a perforated ulcer. 9 months off work with complete burnout, which was just all from the stressful position and everything. And I said, never, ever again. I am never going into that position. I never want to work again. Well, I did, because I love working, actually. My brain wouldn't shut up. But I took some time off. I took a part-time job, and I actually became a hypnotherapist and an emotional freedom techniques practitioner. I studied law of attraction, I studied vision boards, I studied NLP, all things that could help me to get my strength and my energy and my passion back after that illness and feeling so drained and so burnt out. And then I got made redundant from my part-time job, and it was like, ooh, now what am I going to do? Because, I still had a mortgage and I had children to look after. And I thought, well, I've been helping people on the side using hypnotherapy and emotional freedom techniques and mindset, and really helping people to change their lives. I'm not going to go and look for another job. I'm going to start my own business. And just at the same time, my brother, who I hadn't seen for 15 years, gave me a phone call, and I found out he was terminally ill. He had been diagnosed with cancer, and he didn't have a wife, he didn't have any children. And the first thing that came into my head was, you better get yourself up here and come and live with me. And so it was sort of all fit in. It was like it was all meant to be. He came to live with me, and I'd got my therapy that I could do, and people could come to me at home. But what I hadn't reckoned on was the complications and the emotional stuff that was going on around my brother being so ill, and he really had a lot of complications. And there was a lot of things we had to put up with. And every time somebody came to see me with their problems, which for them were real problems, in the back of my mind, I was sort of thinking, yeah, get a grip. You really don't know what life is all about. You don't know what real problems are. And then 3 months after my brother moved in, my father died. Suddenly, he was rushed into hospital, and 4 days later, we'd said goodbye to him. And
Wow.
everything was just, this black cloud was coming onto my head, and my clients coming, I was really good at what I did, but I worry for other people as well. So I was taking on their worries as well as feeling quite frustrated. And I just thought, I can't do this anymore. I just need to get out of this, and I need to get my energy back for me and for my brother. I can't deal with other people's problems. So I was sat here and I thought, now what am I going to do? I can't go and get a job. And I suddenly realized that people kept saying to me, Carol, how do you do this? How do you do this? How did you write your first book? How do you use Facebook? How do you use social media? How do you get people on Twitter? And the How To Girl was born. Originally over on Facebook. I started on Facebook helping people back in the days when Facebook was really cool and really easy to build a following and build a brand on Facebook and actually attract leads. I was helping people to do that, and it went great. But then Facebook got a little bit boring for me, and I sort of wasn't really enjoying it. So I started interviewing experts across the world, a little bit like you've got me here today. I was doing this, and I was using Skype, which was okay, but pixelated, and we'd drop out, and we were squashed on the screen. And then suddenly this brand new thing appeared called Google Plus and Google Hangouts on Air. And I saw the Hangouts on Air and thought, I gotta have some of that. I love the look of that, and we can broadcast to the world. I can take my expert interviews over there. I can do so much with that. And I basically packed a bag and moved over and moved in and added G Plus to the beginning of the How To Girl. And I now help people raise their visibility and really get back to real relationships and face-to-face relationships all through using Google Plus and Google Hangouts.
Awesome, because there's so much to know. It's such a new platform and it's exciting. And this Hangouts feature has really rocked people's worlds. What's your vision with people, for people using Google Plus and Google Plus Hangouts on air?
My personal vision is to really get as many people as possible to embrace technology, to lose their fear of it, and really get out there and connect with people across the world. Through my business, I'm actually in 2014 building a brand new platform. I have training programs already and I work one-to-one with people. And my vision now is the platform that's being built is actually a directory where anybody who is training Hangouts or Google Plus, where anybody who wants to learn it, people who are authors, for instance, and speakers, they're looking for places to be interviewed, but they don't know where to find people, so they'll be able to list themselves. VAs and producers will be able to list themselves on the directory to say, we can help you with your Hangout. It's all going to be based around online broadcasting, but like a one-stop shop where everybody, no matter whether they're coming from that, I want to learn, I'm doing it, I need help, I want to find guests, I want to promote my show, that everybody can come there and find everything they need. And that to me is opening up the world globally to so many people and allowing so many people to do so many things, save time and money, because Hangouts help people save time and money, to actually position themselves with authority, to create face-to-face engagement and really deep relationships and showcase their business. And one of the things is when people Google you, get yourself found.
I love that. So let's talk about people helping people embrace their fears and be able to use these networks like Google Plus in particular. I think there's a huge myth around Google Plus, and people are like don't even know about it. Can you address what do you think people think about Google Plus, and or why don't they know about it?
Well, I think quite a lot of people are starting to know about it, but one of the things and one of the big myths that, well, there's two big myths that I keep hearing. One is it's just another social network. I don't have time for another social network. And the second myth is it's a ghost town. There's nobody there. And both of those actually are completely and utter myths because, first of all, Google Plus is not another social network. Google Plus is actually a social layer across the top of everything Google. Google Plus integrates with everything. You sign on with one account, one password. YouTube is integrated with Google Plus now. In fact, you need a Google Plus profile if you want to comment on a YouTube video, because Google owns YouTube and they're now integrating it into Google Plus. Google Plus is across the top of Google Apps, Google Drive, your calendar, your Gmail, Google Docs, absolutely anything Google all comes underneath it, and Google Plus is a social layer. So yes, it is like a social network, but it has a much bigger implication and a much bigger reach for people. The myth about, but it's a ghost town. It's actually only a ghost town when you don't know how to use it. And what I'm seeing is so many people are coming from other social platforms and hopping on and going, but I can't find anybody, and I've circled all these people, but there's nobody here, and there's nothing in my news stream, because they don't understand that it's actually totally different. Circling somebody, people are thinking that's like following on Twitter, or that's like making friends on Facebook. And on Facebook, if I make a friend, they're my friend, and it's a two-way interaction. So what I share, my friends will see, and what my friends share, I will see. With circles, it's totally, totally different. When you circle somebody on Google Plus, it's like saying, hey, I like your stuff, I want to hear from you. So it's like inviting them to come and present to you each day or each week or however often they post. But it's not necessarily that they want to hear from you. And the only time they hear from you is when they circle you back. And this is where people are seeing a ghost town. They're coming in, they're circling lots of people, they're then sharing a post with their circles. But if those people who they have circled have not circled back, those posts are going out to nobody. You have to share publicly to start with, until more people start to see you and start to circle you. Then they're saying, I like you, I like your stuff, I want to see more of it. And all of a sudden the ghost town disappears.
That's an incredible tip, is remember to be public, not just with your circles. I think that's huge. So let's go back to this notion of, oh my gosh, there's this social layer. So what? Why is that important?
Well, let's put it this way. If you're in business and people want to find you, and when people want to find you, they're actually in a buying mood, do they go to Facebook and Twitter? They might go and ask their friends, oh, do you know where there's a decent plumber? But a lot of the time, when somebody's looking for something, seriously looking for something, they Google it. Everything on Google Plus is indexed for search. And sorry, I'll correct that slightly. Everything you post publicly on Google Plus is indexed for search. You can link your Google Plus profile with your website, which helps you get indexed even faster for search. You can embed posts from Google Plus into your website. You're creating links all the time. And everybody that you start to connect to and engage with on Google Plus, guess what it's helping? It's helping your visibility on Google, which is where people go when they're looking for stuff. So this, where most people go, but there's nobody on Google Plus that I know. You don't need to know anybody on Google Plus. You'll get to know new people. Don't try and bring your current friends over because they're quite happy in the bar. You can go back to that bar and you can have a chat, but come and meet some new people in the local bar or the new modern bar down the road as well. And remember that it's not the people that you're talking to necessarily, it's the people who are looking for what you do, who are Googling it, and you need to be found by them.
So tell us about how you created success using Google Plus. Yeah, so you started sharing publicly and started circling people. Was there any other key to really getting through and breaking through? Was there a mental thing you had to get through at all?
I don't know if it was so much a mental thing. Maybe, yeah, there was a bit of a mindset shift in as much of this is not about me blasting my messages out there. This is about me going to meet people, connect with them and engage with them. Because a lot of what happens, people say, go and find your potential audience and like them or follow them or become their friends or circle them. And then when you post stuff out, they'll see all your stuff. Well, because we've already said about these circles are a one-way system, not a two-way, I actually realized that the thing to do is to go and circle the influencers. Don't even circle, you can circle your potential audience, but if they don't circle you back, you're not going to share any messages with them. You're not going to help them or add value to them. Go and look for and circle influencers in a go-to-give way. Go and find the influencers in your niche and share their great content with other people. First of all, that makes your audience see you and think, oh, this is pretty neat because they're doing all that research for me and bringing all these great posts here. I need to follow this person because they're obviously following or in connection with other people who are posting great stuff that I am really interested in, and they're doing my job for me. Also, by following influencers in your niche, authorities in your niche, you'll be seeing who's following them. You'll be able to join in the conversations. And I did that. I joined some communities, not to share my stuff, but to add value. And the more I did that, the more people started circling me and noticing me. I started using Hangouts. And I actually started using Hangouts before I really started using Google Plus, because it was like, well, I like the video bit. Some people do say you can use Hangouts and forget Google Plus. I would say no, they belong hand in hand and you do need both. But it is about that, just being out there, and don't be out there trying to sell. Be out there just trying to connect, build an audience, build, I think you call it a tribe quite often over in America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, build your tribe, your community, and offer value. I run weekly TV shows, and that has really made a big difference. People are asking me now to add them to a special circle where I email them the links to new TV shows that we're running, or when I'm being interviewed, or when I'm interviewing someone else. And for a while, my sort of circles were quite level. And then all of a sudden, when people had started to really see what I was giving out and how I was helping people, it shot up. And in just over 12 months, I've got over 8,000 people have circled me, and not tit for tat circles. I only have about 1,000 people in my circles. So 7,000 more people have circled me, which to me says I'm getting something right.
You're engaging, it sounds like. And,
Yeah.
let's go back to that interacting with influencers and sharing their content. Would you think a myth people have in their mind is, I don't have anything to say on social media?
I know. I used to feel like that myself. I used to sit here and really worry and think, oh, what can I share? What can I share? But when you chill a little bit and you think, well, actually, let's go and have a look at what are other people sharing. And let's go and find posts where something people are sharing is creating a conversation. And I'm not talking about the inspirational posts. I'm not talking about the cutesy pictures where hundreds of people will click like and share, because we just do. I'm talking about real conversations. And when you see that somebody's posted something great and people are coming in and they're actually having a conversation. Now, if you read something that is great, that you understand, or maybe you don't, if you don't understand, just ask the question and go, hey, this looks really interesting, but I'm not quite sure. They'll come back and talk to you, so you're not thinking about what to say. But if it's something in your topic, in your arena, go and add your take to it. The same if you post something or reshare somebody else's content, reshare it with your own take on it. Don't just click share, which is another mistake that I see a lot of people doing. They're sharing, then they say, but nobody's taking any notice of my stuff. It's like, well, you haven't actually told them why they should. You've just shared somebody else's. Put your own take. Hey, saw this great post from XXX. You really need to read this if you want to discover how to, or I love the way so-and-so said this. Put your own spiel on it, and people will start to feel your personality, but you won't be worrying about what on earth am I going to talk about.
That's excellent points. Really making conversation and interacting as if you're with people will bring them in. I think people don't have to have their own content, but they have to have an opinion about what they're reading. So it's a great point to make. Now, what advice would you give to people who are now willing, that they hear you, they see the social layer, and we've got Google Plus, you've got Hangouts, you've got communities, all wrapped in one nice social connected environment. What advice do you have for people to get started? Where should they start?
The very first place to start, that brought up the Sound of Music song, isn't it? The very first place to start is ABC or something, Do, Re, Mi.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I can't sing, so I won't put you through that. The first place to start is get over there. Make sure you have a Gmail account and a personal profile, and optimize your profile. And the reason I say optimize your profile is the little blue shadow heads that are the profile images by default. Hey, does anybody really want to talk to a blue shadow head? Would
No.
you stick a paper bag over your head and then think people want to talk to you? It's the same thing. You're hiding. Put a nice profile image. Make sure it is an image of you, head shot. And that's not just so that people can see you. That also has an effect on search and what they call authorship, whether or not your picture will show up in search. They want to see you because you're the content creator. So put a nice picture of you, not a picture of your kids or the cats or the dogs. You can have the dogs with you like I do on mine, but you want a good headshot. Second thing is your header image. Put your header image up, because the default header images, that's there, people are like, yeah, okay, so they haven't really done much and they haven't really bothered very much to do anything here. Then make sure your about section is completed, and remember, everything public on Google Plus is indexed for search.
So let me ask you this. They optimize their Google Plus account. Do they need a company page, or what if they don't want their personal account to be primary?
Okay, on Google Plus, when you go over and you look, you will find that most people are actually engaging and creating relationships through their personal profile first and foremost. Yes, you have a business page if you have a business, because the business page is where you will promote your business, where you will share your offers and your sales and other things that are of interest to people. But think about it, if you have an offline business, it's not your shop that goes networking. It's you. It's not your office that walks into a network event to say hello. It's you. It's the same online. You know, some people say, but I want stuff to be private. Well, on Google Plus, you can keep certain things private. You can create a circle with all your family in, so that you then will start sharing private things just to that one circle, which means only your family will ever see it. Nobody else will ever see it. But why hide who you are behind a business page? A business page is good, but it is a business page. It's not supposed to be private. It's personal. It's not supposed to be the same as you connecting with other people. So again, this is a slight mindset shift from anywhere else. And I would say on Google Plus, go over and build your personal profile. If you're going to build your business page, be prepared to put in a lot more work and make sure that you've got a real personal sort of personality on that business page, because a lot of people don't like talking to logos.
I don't blame you. And the one really, um, I want to say, problem I see out there with a lot of people is they have more than one Gmail account. And they've created a Gmail account for their business, but they also have a personal Gmail. How do they reconcile this?
That is one, and it has been creating frustration. It will continue to create frustration for a while. The thing to do is, before you actually go and set anything new up, is do a search on Google Plus and find out whether you are there 20 times or once or not at all. Go and look for your business page. See whether there is one. Now, if you have a local physical business, there will probably already be everything there. Do not go into Google Plus and set up a local business. I don't want to go into that now because I could talk about that for quite a while. But for local businesses, you start at the maps and the listing side. You don't start with Google Plus. But for someone that's not local, not a physical business, go on Google Plus. You can do it as an outsider. You don't have to log in to go in there, and go and search for your name and your business and see if you appear, because you may have several personal profiles that you have managed to set up when you set up your Gmails that you have no idea are actually there. Then decide which Gmail account you want for your personal profile. And all of the others you can downgrade. You keep your Gmail account, but you can downgrade from Google Plus. So if you have got multiple profiles, you can go into the settings of all of the ones you don't want a profile for, because after all, there's only one you. You only need one personal profile. So pick the Gmail that you want attached to that one personal profile, and all of the others go in and downgrade so that they don't exist as G Plus accounts anymore. One thing to really think about here is, if you have a YouTube channel that has a different Gmail email address to your preferred personal profile email address, but you want the YouTube channel attached to the personal profile, you are going to have to use the YouTube channel email. Because if you use a different one, you could end up with problems and you can't attach your YouTube to your personal profile. It does sound quite complicated. When you sit down and work it all out and go through it slowly, it actually isn't that hard. But people are rushing in and setting it up and then thinking, oh no, and now my YouTube account has got a different Gmail to my profile and I want them the same. If you do have a YouTube channel that you want attached to a personal profile, use your YouTube Gmail address for your personal profile, and then get rid of all of the others. You can still send emails from a different email address, so don't worry about that. Yeah, but I don't want to send emails from my YouTube channel Gmail. Don't worry about that. You can send Gmails in your Gmail account. You can change who it says it's coming from. So there's lots of settings you can change. If you want a business page, if there's already one there, you will have set it up. because a business page has to be set up from a profile. If you're not using G Plus yet, you probably never went in and set up a business page. But if you've already done it, again, you can always delete the business page and start over, because a business page that is not a local page, so not a physical business, is created from your profile, but it's not linked. It doesn't tell people that you created it unless you decide to do that. And a business page can also have a YouTube channel attached, so you could have a YouTube channel from there. But just take it slow when you go in to set these up, and do your research first. Find out what you have there. And if you're confused, if you're frustrated and you're overwhelmed and you're thinking, I don't know how to sort this out, my very strong advice would be, A, go into the help communities on Google+, the right ones, and ask people. And if it's a real tangle, find someone and invest in spending some time with them and let them help you sort it out. It will be the best thing you've ever done.
Yeah, because I've done that myself. I had two YouTube channels that I want, and therefore I had two Google Plus accounts, and I wound up taking the one YouTube channel and tying it to my business page, which really solved a whole lot. And then then I don't have to use that other Google Plus account so much, I think. It's still a tangled mess, but I agree. Is that something you do and help people with and consult with, or do you have a recommendation of who to go to?
I do that if anybody would like any help. And I also, depending how much of a mess or how much of a tangle and whether there's other things, I also can actually talk to people who can give me exactly the right answers if we come across something that is not quite going to work right. There are people that we can talk to.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for all these insider tips. I know we could go on and on for hours on this, and it's very exciting to be doing this on Google Plus Hangouts right now, the interview. And please tell people how they can find you and what if you have anything to offer them.
People can find me by Googling Carol Dodsley or G Plus How To Girl. I'm all over the place. But also, if you look down here, I hope it's on. I can't see my screen at the moment because it's behind my webcam. Is actually my name, of course. But underneath that is a link to G Plus Hangout Success. If anybody would like to really dive in and really learn more about this and how to get everything set up, what I've actually got at the moment is something really, really special. I have two programs. I have a Hangout program and I have a G Plus program, so all things G Plus. And they run over 12 months for people, that they get 12 months of me helping them in a community, doing live trainings as well as the actual recorded trainings that are there. And right now, as a special sort of, and we're in February, but it's still a special 2014 kickstart, anybody who joins me on the Hangout Success program gets free access for a whole year to the All Things G Plus, so you get the best of both worlds.
Wow, that's great. Thank you for being such an amazing how-to gal for G Plus and a resource today on the Social Media Myths Busted program. We'll have you back again, and I know we'll be talking soon.
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Can't wait to come back again.
Yay! We'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.